Hello and welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 86. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Someone tampered with my show notes here, and I was supposed to say I'm your huckleberry host, Ryan Cross. Very smooth, guys.
It was a segue for you to go on to your patch company.
Right. Well, now that I've said that, let's get right. Well, I'll ask you guys after announcements what you guys did in guns this week, since that obviously was supposed to come immediately after the intro. But me and Jake Challen, the president of the Firearms Radio Network, have started our own company called the Patriot Patch Company, and we are making 100% awesome, 100% gun-friendly, pro-Second Amendment-friendly patches. They're PVC, vinyl, some of them are 3D. We're designing them ourselves, using myself as the designer and Jake as the businessman. And our first patch is I'm Your Huckleberry. It's got Doc Holliday on there from the infamous line from Tombstone. So if you want to pre-order that, you can do so on the website. We've got the pre-order going on right now. Right now they are on sale for the special low price of, what is it, 12? Hold on, click on the website here. So right now we got them on sale for $12.87. And you can also get the Gun Guy radio patch, which I'm wearing right now. And that's also $12.87. So high-quality patches designed by yours truly help fund this project, and we can start taking on all the other patch ideas that we've got in the works. So we're not short on patch ideas. We just want to get this first one launched and a good pre-order response, so that way we can fund the other ones. So. Anyway, guests are always welcome on the show. If you want to come on the show, email myself, cross@firearmsradio.tv, and we'll get you set up to be a co-host one day. So now that I've got the announcements out of the way, what'd you guys do in guns this week?
Well, you're not going to introduce us first, Ryan?
Oh, well, my bad. We've got a full house tonight, actually. We've got PJ from Canada. Actually, he's from Louisiana. We got Chad from Oregon. And we've got Tony Simon from the shores of New Jersey. How's it going?
It's going great, guys. Great to be here.
Yep, same here. It's hot, though.
Hot?
Yes, it is.
What's
it is
hot?
Warm.
What's hot, Chad? Just real quick.
92.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
We can't complain about heat to the southern boy.
It's humid here, if that's good enough.
We're all on some kind of coast, or at least close to one, so I think it's pretty much humid in all of our locations. Huh?
Yeah, but it's not Cajun hot yet, right?
Oh, no.
I don't even know what the temperature was today. The humidity was like 1,000,000%, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. My sweat was sweating. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Hey, this week in guns, which is, of course, for me last week in guns, I was shooting my Ruger 1022 out to 75 yards because I wanted to improve upon the half-inch group at 50 yards that I shot the week before. So, of course, I managed to break my scope. So that's what I did this week in guns, to say a lot of curse words. Then I contacted Centerpoint, and they told me just box it up, ship it in, because they have a lifetime warranty. So that will be on the way to New York, and hopefully I'll get a new scope or repaired scope in a short amount of time. So that's what I'm doing this week in guns.
That's what happens when you buy your scopes at Walmart, Tony.
Marca.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, well, I unfortunately have done a little of nothing except carry, and I did actually succeed at writing a review because, well, it was so hot outside. So that's about what I did. So here in about a week and a half, we have a benefit match coming up for it's for the Child Assessment Center here in the county I live in, and it's always a fun match, lots of prizes, and my son's even going to go shoot it this year, so that ought to be a good time.
Cool.
Right on. What about you,
Yeah.
TJ?
Haven't done much. I'm still waiting on that shield I talked about last week. The company I bought it from, they had them on sale, and I guess they underestimated the demand for the product, and so they had to wait until Friday to actually ship it out when I ordered it on Monday. But they waited till this Monday to ship it, so it wasn't sitting in a UPS warehouse over the weekend and get stolen or something like that. So it'll ought to be here tomorrow. But in the meantime, I ordered a magazine and holster, so I'm like fully kitted out for a gun that I don't even own. So.
I'd be lying if I said I haven't done that yet. You get so excited to buy the gun, you can buy the magazines and the holsters and everything for it before it even arrives.
Yeah, actually, so this makes 2 guns that I have holsters and magazines and stuff for, because I have all my stuff left over from my Glock 19 whenever I got rid of it last year, and I just need to find something I just need to get another one to use that stuff with.
Just get a lone wolf, timber wolf in the compact size.
Yeah, thinking about it.
Yeah, we all should be thinking about it. Well, I myself actually, I've been writing a review and editing some video from Range Day. I got this carbine from WGM Tactical down in California, so I'll be reviewing it today. So I think this is, for the YouTube viewers, this will be the first podcast that you actually get to see a gun on screen within the first 7 minutes of the show and not have to wait till all the end. So here's what it looks like. Stay tuned till about mid-show, and I'll tell you more about it. It's pretty awesome. Check out that muzzle brake. That's like...
It's an AK style, isn't it?
Okay.
This is like the Mark 12 style from that one movie, Lone Survivor. I will tell you about it.
It looks fancy.
Yes, it is.
It looks loud.
Yeah, and I also got some Magpul goodies from the store today. So I got my AK here, and I finally got the Zukov folding stock on there. There's the left side. So then it's a little rigid as far as extending it. So you gotta kind of muscle it. I don't know if that's gonna loosen up over time, but so that's what it looks like fully extended. And then you right here there's a very hard to maneuver pivoting thing there. I just closed it. And then you press this button on the left side to fold the stock inwards, like so. Pretty cool.
Nice.
It doesn't look like it'll fire folded. I do have a Magpul cheek riser on here, which does interfere with the charging handle, so I didn't attempt to fire it folded with the stock unmodified with that cheek weld. But it doesn't look like it's possible to do that, so it's just fold for transport and then unfold for playtime. And then I've also got the... Go ahead.
I was going to say a true reviewer would try that out.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not doing the review today, TJ. Maybe I will. All right? No, that's a good point. I will do that. So then I got the AKM handguard on there with a M-Lock AFG. So it looks pretty nice. First experience with the M-Lock today. It's not bad. A little difficult to get for your first time, but seems to work okay.
It looks better than Keymod, at least.
Yeah.
In theory, in my mind, it's better, yeah. I like it better than Keymod.
So that's pretty much what I did. So let's get right into the spotlight for this week. We got some interesting products to talk about. I know a lot of guys are going to be happy about this first one. Seems like the polymer striker-fired pistol fan base is always split between Glocks and everyone else. But the Springfield XD guys that are out there, or XTM fans out there, Springfield's releasing threaded barrel models that have taller sights. So right out of the box, they'll be ready for a suppressor. Back when I had my XD, I really wish that it was set up for that. Now I'm kind of contemplating getting another one because I miss it. So they've got 45 ACP or 9mm. The MSRPs differ for 45 ACP. The MSRP is $729, and for the 9mm, you're looking at $699, so about $30 and some change between the two. Looks like it's a dealer exclusive from Lipsy's, and the frame is got a nice coyote flat dark earth two-tone to it, and the slide, of course, is the typical black. I don't know if that's melanite finish.
I'm not sure what they use, but I think it is a melanite.
It's melanite on their site, so.
Okay. So Chad came prepared.
I did.
That's right.
I came prepared on this one because, it looks like the 45 version is a black frame.
Oh,
Kind of interesting.
only the 9mm, the dark.
You'd think you'd be able to get it either way.
You'd think.
You'd assume that, but I guess they have a reason for that.
Yeah, so easy to tell the two apart without looking at the muzzles.
Maybe.
But so it looks like it's a 4.5-inch barrel on both of them. 13+1 for the 45 ACP, 19+1 for the 9mm. So what better way to have 20 rounds of suppressed 9mm ammo at the ready? That's awesome. Magazines, they're kind of pricey, but they're not bad. It does come with 3 though, which is awesome because 3 is typically the minimum from where I'm sitting at. But what do you guys think?
I need a suppressor so I can buy one of these pistols. Or I should say, I need a suppressor with a booster so I can use it on one of these pistols. That's what I need.
I think the whole thing is just to screw you to New Jersey because I can't have 19-round magazines or suppressors in the state. It's horrible. It's like the only thing you can have in Jersey XDM, it seems, is either a 40 or 45 in XDM, unless you can find 15-round magazines somewhere. Most of the guys I know have XDs because you can have 15-round magazines in XDs for 9s.
Well, that's why we have you on the show, is to remind us how fortunate we are that we don't live in New Jersey.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Yeah, you're fortunate not to live in this horrid state where they make up rules as they go along.
I think this is pretty cool because they integrated the taller sights in there, which a lot of companies don't do that. They'll just throw a threaded barrel in it and call it tactical. But Springfield actually, did it right and put some taller sights on some taller backup sights, or not backup, but suppressor height sights. And it looks like even the rear sight kind of has like a little hook going on to it to give you a little like a one-handed manipulation if you need that.
Yeah, I've always worried about busting the front sight off with those suppressor sights being.
Yeah, they're pretty tall.
I don't expect it to ever happen, but like I was looking at one of the Glock 19s that have suppressor sights.
Yeah.
And it's sticking up there, and I go, geez. I mean, you would think that it just looks fragile. I'm sure it's not, but it just looks that way. But
it's like a rudder.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the XDM anyway. I really do like the XDs and XDMs. So, this is a big plus for me, but, not that I'm probably going to buy one.
So is the Springfield going to be the last to get optics-ready pistols, it seems?
I bet you
Looks like
that's coming up soon, I imagine. At least some kind of pro model. I know that Springfield's really kind of catering to they're welcoming all the competition shooters that are starting to use MNPs more. So I know that there's some guys running XDs out there in competition, and some ladies as well too. I just I bet you I'd put money on that next SHOT Show. Springfield Armory will have optics ready XDMs.
Oh yeah, I would bet money on it too.
I'm wondering when that's going to actually start being the standard for pistols. I wonder how quickly are we going to get to that.
I think when
they just come with it.
Technology gets a little cheaper. to where you're not having to spend, $1,300 on top of the pistol kind of thing.
Yeah, well, and then it's coming because micro red dots are coming down in price, or there's competitors coming out on the market that are lower than like your Trijicon RMR or your Burris Fastfire. You've got cheaper alternatives, so I think that the demand is going to go up for, well, why not have a red dot on my pistol? I've got a suppressor on there and a Surefire flashlight laser combo. I want the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. Now, actually, the car with their current premium line, they're actually coming with the sight. I think it's a Leupold Delta Point they're coming with. So it's like you don't even have to go out and buy the sight. It comes from the factory with it on there.
Cool.
Yeah, as an NRA instructor, you'd like to teach, front sight picture, front sight, sight alignment, sight picture. But really, when it comes to producing shooters, I mean, the red dot is where it's at. Put the red dot on the target. You teach them trigger manipulation, the breathing control. You know what I mean? You can leave that whole sight alignment part out. I didn't used to feel this way, and I was talking to a lot of guys who are in the Marine Corps now, and they were like, they don't even teach that whole thing. They have a red dot on, they have the Trijicon on the M16A2, M16A4s now. So they don't even teach that. It's like they're producing people that can hit a target at 300 yards, 400 yards with the first shot.
Yep.
And it just makes it easier, especially under stress. It seems to me that red dot, put dot on target, squeeze trigger. I mean, I think pretty much before I become the really old geezer in the back of the room screaming about how great wheel guns are or something like that, red dots and lasers are probably going to be mandatory. I mean, not mandatory, but standard on most things, probably.
Yeah. It's all about the green lasers and now the blue lasers.
Blue.
Blue.
The burning lasers?
Wow.
Yeah. So you can hold it on them and it's burning their skin and giving them a soft warning that, there's some hollow points coming their way. Unless you live in San Francisco, but we're going to leave that one alone. So yeah, if you want to check out those new Springfields, go on over to Lipsy's website, lipsys.com. And
Lipsy's is actually local to me here.
Yeah, Lipsy's is awesome. So actually, and speaking of XDs, I did also want to mention Davidson's has an exclusive Springfield XD as well. They've got the XDS 3.3, and it's a olive drab finish on the frame. So if you want, this would be more of the New Jersey speed of Springfield XD, right? There's nothing wrong. You can't have this, right?
There's an accessory rail.
Oh no, is that bad?
No,
I don't know.
Fine.
Probably.
No, it's fine. It's just you're gonna have to wait forever to get it.
Ryan, I think it's actually a FDE, not olive drab.
Yeah.
Did I say olive drab? I'm sorry. Yeah. FDE.
It's some color other than black.
Yeah.
But understand, you won't carry it anywhere but inside your home.
Right.
Yeah,
no,
but
it's pretty cool.
I always like seeing the frame colors. They just to kind of mix it up.
Well, it looks a lot better than the Glock Flat Dark Earth for sure. That stuff just looks like melted chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Glock FDEs are weird. I don't know how they call it FDE.
Yeah. But
hey, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
About these exclusives and the different colors. With polymer pistols, really, do they hold their value as exclusives? I'm just wondering. I mean, do they really hold resale value?
They're not. It's not the biggest thing. It's not like you have a one-off, 1903 Colt that, was owned by some specific person. They're building probably thousands of these things, so they're exclusive, but they'll be around for a while, so they're not going to really. It doesn't seem like some people hold them high. Some people just say it's like any other, a FDE Glock might command $10 over a black Glock, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do sell for a higher premium. It's kind of weird. I guess it depends on what people want at the time.
That's what I was wondering, because didn't they have an olive drab Glock for a while, and that was like there and then gone, and now supposedly they're more expensive than a regular Glock, but I'm like, really, who's in the market for olive drab Glock?
Believe it or not, there are actually people that collect Glocks. They want to have one of each one, and so I guess those kind of people.
Yeah, true.
There's the people in the camp that say, well, a Glock's a Glock, but then there's other people that want every single generation and every color and every iteration of those generations and calibers and all the little markings and stuff, just like people that collect, Mosin Nagants want this particular stamp in the buttstock kind of thing. So, it just kind of depends on who's buying, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a Glock collector in New Jersey would have to be 200 years old because you'd have to wait for all the approvals from the state.
Yeah, there's quite a few, honestly. Quite a few Glock models, more than just the, standard 17 through, 43 now. There's probably 3 times that amount between the all the variations.
Yep. Slim frame versus, gens. So anyway, this Davidson exclusive XDS is available in 9mm and 45. So it's got the regular black. You can swap out that backstrap for a different fit in your hand. So it's kind of got a nice look to it. I noticed that Smith & Wesson M&Ps are now coming out in flat dark earth too. So it just seems like everyone's sort of jumping on that bandwagon of there's a demand for flat dark earth pistols. That demand might be like self-serving as far as like we're putting it out there, people are wanting it, so we got to put out more because the competition's doing it. But anyway, it's cool. If you want to check that out, I got the link for that in the show notes as well. So that's enough about pistols. Let's get on to something else. I've got what's that?
Never enough pistols.
Yeah, never enough. Well, I got a rifle coming up, long range bolt action rifle, but its price point is a little high, but that's because the stock is pretty unique. So this is from Seiko, and they call it the 85 Carbon Light, and the stock is 100% made out of carbon fiber. It's not a wood or polymer stock that's been dipped to look like carbon fiber. It's actually carbon fiber crafted, and that is evident through the price tag because it's got an MSRP of $1,250, but it's significantly light because of that 100% carbon fiber construction, which is pretty fascinating. I can't tell if it's kilos or pounds. Oh, it's in kilograms. So it only weighs 2.4 kilograms. Somebody from Canada tell me how many pounds that is.
It's basically 5 pounds.
Yeah, I was going to say
5.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, our resident Canadian, for answering that. So it looks like we got a barrel length of 5.15 millimeters. Oh, they did it again. How many inches is that?
You lost me.
Yeah. Thank you, American Public Education System. I don't know how many millimeters.
550 millimeters?
Yeah. It's going to be about 20 inches.
24 is 25.4 is how many?
So it looks like it's 20 inches plus some change.
Yeah.
20 and a half or 20 and a quarter inches. So it does not come with any kind of sights. It does have a detachable magazine with a magazine capacity of 5. There's other features that are available. As far as the calibers go, we're looking at 22-250, and that's a 14-inch barrel. 243, which is that's not the barrel. That's they list the twist rate a little funny. So 22-250. I'm not going to even bother listing the twist rates because I'm just going to confuse you guys more than me. So I'll say it again: 22-250, 243 Winchesters, 260 Remington, 7mm 08, and 308 Winchester. So those are the 5 chamberings available. It's got a stainless steel action, stainless steel barrel. Yeah, it's a pretty fancy rifle. The whole, I think, premise would be that it's lightweight, and you can carry it into the field and throughout the day and not be fatigued. Because let me tell you what, as young as I am, carrying an 8, 9, 10-pound rifle all day long gets old pretty fast. Like day one gets pretty old. So some smart engineering here in trying to make a lighter rifle that's got a capable barrel and action that is going to be good for more than just one shot and out of a pencil barrel, and then you've got to let it cool down for 10 minutes.
Well, they
So
could take it. They could take it a step further and put one of the carbon fiber wrapped barrels on it.
Yeah, you could do that, but I
think
actually
a sub 5-pound barrel would be pretty punch you nice in the shoulder, I would imagine.
Yeah. Especially with those calibers they listed.
Yeah, I'm looking at the calibers and looking at the weight going, you're not shooting this all day at the range.
No.
243.
If you're packing it around, it's gonna be great for that. So.
Yeah.
This is definitely more of a designer kind of rifle. If you've got more of a what you would consider a prestigious collection or a more distinguished collection, this would be one for you.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good too. Usually the carbon fiber kind of, I just never really like the look of it, but this carbon fiber actually looks pretty good.
Probably because it is it's true carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's actual carbon fiber, not carbon fiber film dip. Huh?
Yeah.
Exactly.
With the stainless action and everything, it is a nice looking rifle. And really, when you think about it, the price isn't terrible for what it is.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview. Tom Gresham had someone on from Sacco, and they were talking about pretty much this is a premium line out of Finland. Just not a lot of people in this country know about it. We still have our Weatherbees and our different firearms that as Americans we call traditional rifles, but in other countries they have great firearms too, and this is just one of them. We just don't talk about them much here. Like I have a Mosin that's from Tika, so it's a really quality, hex receiver Mosin that was built back in the day. And even for World War II, it was built in 42 and it's free floated. I mean, those guys were just on top of the game when it comes to firearms. We just don't have a lot of exposure in this country to that.
Right.
What country is Tika from?
Finland.
So, I mean, I can see my Mosin. You can tell it was made during the conflict because of how rough the receiver is cut. It was we need this on the front lines right now. Let's just hack these things out. I think it's a 43.
By 42, the Finns at least. Yeah, by 42, the Finns where I was. I guess they were like, yo, we got to go kick some Russian butt. We got to make this accurate as possible. Because there's not a lot of us, and there's a whole buttload of them.
Yep.
So if you want to check out the Sacco 85 Carbon Light, I've got the link for that in the show notes, and I believe Beretta is their one of their distributors, isn't that right?
That's what
Beretta does them.
Yeah.
Beretta's importing both Tika and Sacco or Seiko, however you want to pronounce it. They're doing them both, actually.
So next up, I got a interesting mount for your optics. This is from the Kinetic Development Group, and it's called Side Lock. So you've got your QD quick detach mounts. That you unloosen those levers, takes the leverage off and or the friction off, and then you can pull them off. But whether that returns to 0 100% of the time. There's kind of a loose tolerance when companies are talking about, it returns to 0 with a acceptable shift of, a half MOA or 1 MOA shift. So Kinetic Development Group put together a side interfacing mount lock that is supposed to be 100% return to 0. So it looks like they've got one specifically for the a patrol rifle optic, like a C3 or a Comp M4. MSRP is $139. It's coming in June of this year. So basically, it just slides to the side into the mount, and then you can eject it out the side too, and then it's supposed to return 0. So if you wanted to get a couple mounts and just trade one optic between rifles, your carbine and versus your AR pistol, you could do that and expect it to return to 0. Granted, those rifles should have a somewhat similar 0, but so that's kind of an interesting product that I haven't seen yet, and the price tag I assumed for the technology would be much higher. $139 for a quality mount is actually not bad at all.
Yeah, 130. That's what I was noticing at first. This is the whole mount too. It's the mounting and the ring. So you're getting a pretty good deal, honestly, if it does everything it says.
Yeah, and they do make a standard like Picatinny rail one also.
A riser.
So if you don't, just a standard riser. But when I don't know if you guys watched the little video they had, but it looks like you just kind of tilt the mount on. Yeah, I mean you just kind of put it on one side of the rail and tilt it, and it locks on, and then it's got this little button at the front that you just kind of push and then tilt it back off, and away you go.
Yeah, you don't need any tools. There's no side levers or huge knobs. Everyone knows that I'm not a fan of huge knobs. I knew that was going to sound the way it did before I said it, and I stand by it. So, yeah, this is cool. They got pictures on their websites of the universal scope riser with an EOTech on there. So you could, swap EOTechs from rifle to rifle just by, having a couple of these. The universal risers that are just Picatinny are $99. And you can get one that's made for aimpoint, T1, T2, H1, or H2s, and that's $139. Or you get one that's meant for that patrol rifle optic, the C3, the Comp M4, the patrol rifle optic by aimpoint, or the I imagine even that Tasco one that we talked about last week would probably fit on there too.
Oh yeah. You spend more on the mount than the
optic.
Yeah, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So one thing I find interesting about the EOTech, or not the EOTech, but the universal mount, they show it with an EOTech, but with an EOTech you're gonna lose the cheek weld because I believe they're set up to be perfect co-witness with the iron sights. But if you put this riser on it, it's going to be significantly higher than it was before.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider.
And it didn't say how much height it added.
Yeah, it looks like it's got to be at least half an inch.
Yeah.
Is this a new company? Kinetic Research?
No.
Kinetic Development?
Yeah, Kinetic Research Group, which I accidentally said, they make the bolt knob, and they were involved with the Masada group and designing some of those rifles. This is a different group that sounds similar, so forgive me for that mistake.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Yeah. No, I just wonder about this. Sometimes when you have a new company that comes out with a quality product at a lower price, bigger companies come along and snatch it up and then increase the price point. So something like this, sometimes if it's really good, it's best to get on it early because you never know when they'll be gobbled up.
Yeah,
Freedom
the
Group.
LaRue Tacticals side lock. That's $509.
You just never know. I mean, sometimes being the first one in is a bad thing, and sometimes being the first one in is a good thing. I mean, how many guys have HS2000s before Springfield picked them up and started calling them XDs?
Yeah, the $250 HS2000, right?
Yep. Springfield changes the magazine and tells you it's all something new and sprinkles fairy dust on it, and people buy into it.
Yeah.
Well, when it's flat dark earth pixie dust, I'm all over that, like white on rice.
Uh-huh.
Now, all you need to make Ryan love it more was if it would be Magpul FDE.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Why can't they all match? There's got to be like a flat dark earth Pantone swatch that every single manufacturer can follow. It shouldn't shift so much.
Well, Ryan, why don't you make one and just sell it to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Pantone book. There's only one swatch. It's just called Flat Dark Earth. I guess OD green can vary too, but I mean that's kind of understandable. And I mean I hate it when you go to the store and it's like more like foliage or ranger green, and you're like, they're labeling it as OD, and you're like, just 'cause it's green doesn't mean it's OD. Come on.
I did
think
see one that was
funny-
it was like the most basic green color, and they were calling it OD. I'm like, that's just green. If I had a box of crayons, that would be green.
It's green. That's not old. That's green. I think the
Yeah.
funniest part about getting different color flat dark earths is the thing that the first firearm, at least that I know about, that was issued that was flat dark earth was the what was it? The Scar, and it was 3 different colors of flat dark earth.
The stock was that kind of vomit green dark earth.
It's like even when you mil-spec'd it, it was multiple colors. It just didn't work.
Oh man, you guys just gave me a great idea for a patch. It's a box of crayons. It's got black, stealth gray, flat dark earth, OD green, pink, and purple in it, and it can be like the tactical rainbow crayon set.
Either that, Ryan, or one
There you
better.
go.
Just have the FDE crayon box and just have 12 different colors.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
That's
12
even
different
better.
colors of brown. Yes,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Straight, yeah, TM that right now.
Yeah, we didn't say that, you guys.
Yeah, edit.
Yep. So if you want that, check out the link in the show notes. MSRP $139. So next we're gonna go on to the panel discussion of Firearms Insider reviews, and I've got one and Chad's got one, and as you can guess, I'm gonna make Chad go first.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
See, Chad, you notice he always puts his name in the show notes first, but he always makes the guest go first,
Well, yeah.
just to
I
throw
mean-
you off.
That's only logical.
I even had to put a link in mine because, my review's actually done.
Wow.
Burn.
Well, today I am reviewing. It's made by the Crew Custom Holsters. I'll hold it up for you. It is their Shadow, which is an inside the waistband Kydex holster. I mean, your standard kind of clamshell holster, which, they sent me to review, so that was awfully nice of them. The one I got is black, as you can see if you're actually watching the video. They do offer different colors. They had a huge list of colors, some patterns like Cryptex and stuff like that. So, they're all a price add-on, but, hey, if you're into that stuff, I figured it's an inside the waistband holster. It doesn't matter what color it is. Nobody's going to see it. So, like I said, I received this, and I got it for my car CM9 because, well, I was looking kind of for a holster like this to review. And it is actually quite nice. It's got a good finish on it. I don't know if you probably can't see anything anyway. But
Just go to the website and you can look at the fancy pictures Chad put up.
yeah, you can either go to the Firearms Insider website and look at it, or there is actually a link in the show notes, so you can go there too. But so this holster has a few big advantages. The clip, which is a nice wide clip on it, can be adjustable for cant. You can have 0, which is just straight up and down. You can rotate it for 15 degrees or 45. So, like, if you're wearing it around, like, 6 o'clock, you might want the 45-degree position. I mean, I couldn't find any use for it for me. I typically leave it in the straight up and down position. I actually have it in the 15-degree position right now, which seemed to work out quite well also. And the little difference is you can actually rotate it so it cants backwards too. So I guess if you want to wear it kind of appendix cross draw, you could rotate it backwards. I don't do well with appendix holsters, so I basically tried it there for about an hour and said, yeah, I'll go back to my 3:30, 4 o'clock position, which is where I typically wear holsters. And it's very comfortable. I didn't have any problems with that. I mean, it's a Kydex holster, so some people can find them kind of, problems with them being because they're hard. I didn't find any problems with it, but if you got one for a larger gun, I could see where it could cause more problems being longer. The one big advantage with it also is it has a little screw for adjustable retention. You can see that it does actually hold it. It has a really nice, it clips in. I don't know if you can hear it. And so that's a nice thing about it. I didn't have any problems with it. It's a nice, convenient holster. I really like it. So, like, if I come home from work, put a pair of shorts on, I can just kind of slip it in and not have to worry about strapping on a real holster. I'll go through this. The target market, of course, is going to be the concealed carriers. The features and benefits of the product are the adjustable cant. The holster does have a lifetime warranty, so if you destroy it or anything, they will rebuild it or send you a new one. I like the single wide clip and the adjustable retention. I could only find one other review, and it was on their website, and it said, "Quick and excellent communication, product and service. I have been recommending the Crew holsters to my friends." Let's see, other aesthetic options. Like I said, if you go to their website, it'll tell you what colors they option and also what firearms they have it for, which is a pretty good list. The MSRP is $50 for black, and then colors, patterns, and lights are extra. They also offer, it looks like all of their holsters they make, you can get it with certain lights or lasers. So if you carry a light on your handgun, they'll make you a holster that incorporates that. So, of course, it'll make the holster a little lighter, but they do offer that, which not everybody I know does. So our rating, the pros is adjustable retention, adjustable cant. The light options, for a lot of people, I know that's pretty big. Color options, if you're into that pink, like some people that aren't on the show. And the ease of it going on and off your belt. You can just kind of slide it on, clip it on, you're good to go. The cons, when it's inside your waistband, it does collapse slightly with your belt on it, but it doesn't collapse enough that it's a big problem reholstering it. So that was really the only con I could find with it. So I gave it an 8.5, which is great. And I think that about covers it. If you guys have any questions, I'll see if I can answer them.
Can I go first?
Sure.
So you can choose inside the waistband or outside the waistband when you're ordering. Does that mean that they just simply put the clip on the other side of the firearm?
This is an inside the waistband right hand, so it would be an outside the waistband left hand.
Huh.
So no other changes to just switching the clip on the other side of the Kydex shell?
Correct. That's my understanding on this particular holster.
Yeah, I think, Chad, maybe that's where your negative cant comes in, because if you put it on the left side, you would have to cant it the other direction to get it to go forward, kind of.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right, and that's a good point, TJ.
Well, thank you. I also noticed while putting that review up, they have a ton of different holes in that thing for adjustability. It looks like you could use the bottom, like if you're doing it at a 0 cant, you could use the bottom set of holes, or you could just put them both at the top set and change the depth, I guess, as well. Did you try that out?
I did try that, and the holes are just a little too close on those top and bottom two.
Oh, okay.
So you probably, the screws wouldn't quite line up right. But I think, if you really wanted to, they'll do custom holsters also. So if you wanted one like that, I think they would probably just slot those for you so you could do that, or you could do it yourself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Interesting note on their models, on their product page, there's actually a bunch of revolvers on here. So, I mean, you can get one for the Ruger SP101 either inside or outside the waistband. For the variation of barrel length for the SP101 or the 686 or the Model 60 Smith & Wesson, I mean, there's no. I guess you would click the checkbox additional instruction and just say my barrel is this many inches, or does the barrel length not matter the way they designed the revolver holsters? I guess.
Yeah,
that's a general question.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but you know, we can. I do know that I think on some of theirs, I think some of the inside the waistband holsters, I think the gun, the end of it, the muzzle end will stick out a little bit, because I know they offer this style, a hybrid style for the inside the waistband ones. So, you know, I think on some of the larger frame and maybe on the revolvers with a different barrel, it would stick out a little bit on some of them, or you could probably put a note in there and they would probably make it full length.
Yeah, I mean they've got the Ruger GP100, and then in parentheses it says 4 inches. So obviously that's meant for the 4-inch model, but they don't have that for the other revolvers too.
Right.
That's interesting. Now you can get it for your Chiappa Rhino as well.
Well, you know, so when you buy one, yeah, they had. I noticed you can get one for North American Arms 22.
It's interesting.
Everyone knows the human body has several holsters already for that handgun design.
Yeah, as long as you wear clothes, you have and the little holster it comes with.
Chad, I think what Ryan's getting at is even without, you still may possibly have a holster.
I've heard of. Didn't somebody try to smuggle one into a jail that way?
Yeah. Actually, I think they did pretty well at smuggling it.
Yeah.
Everything's a holster if you're brave enough.
I remember that article because they actually stole one of our review, Ryan and Chad's review of the NAA Mini for the news article.
That's right. Yeah.
And they said, photo credit Firearms Insider. And we're like, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, wasn't a female that stole a guy's firearm and they found it when they patted her down in jail?
Something like that.
That would have required more than a pat down to find where she had it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, maybe the TSA got a hold of her.
Those people that do those pat down, those cavity searches, you know, they just go home shaking their head at the end of the day. You can't just take that with you. You got to let it go.
TSA makes New Jersey look good almost.
Yeah, they're a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
But
well, Ryan, I think it's all your turn to tell us all about this cool rifle.
All right, I'm excited. So this is a WGM-15 is made by WGM Tactical, and they're out of Grass Valley, California. I'm not quite sure what kind of grass they grow in that valley, but this rifle is pretty purpose-built. So just a little story behind them. You know, in today's market, you know, everyone kind of throws around the term mil spec. Well, the way they see it, mil spec just means that it was within the tolerances to be used in the military, and most people kind of think that's good enough for them. But to WGM, Tourette's, that's the wrong disorder. What's when you get it backwards?
Dyslexia.
Dyslexic, sorry. Yeah, if there was Tourette's, this podcast would be explicit. So anyway, they basically are building rifles that are better than mil-spec. So just like a lot of handcrafted armories and companies out there that are making AR-15s that are more expensive than your plain Jane, bone stock Walmart models, but they are built to withstand much more fire and much more heavy use. So WGM Tactical out of California is a Type 7 Class 2 SOT FFL and a manufacturer of AR-15 style rifles, sound suppressors, AOWs, as long as custom precision long-range rifles, and gunsmithing service if you're in the California area. So this is actually, if you see the serial number on this guy right here, it's actually 001. So this is like their first serialized receiver that they're passing around. This one that I'm holding right now, it's kind of been a dirty girl. It's gone through 9,500 rounds, is what they told me. There's only been 2 failures reported. One was they couldn't get to replicate it, and the other one was just like a jam. But other than that, those were 2 kind of isolated incidents that haven't repeated themselves. So they sent it to me. They told me to not clean it, to not lube it, to just shoot the crap out of it, and let them know if I have any failures. So I did just that. This rifle's got some unique features. Unfortunately, it carries some features that are required in the state of California. So it does have a bullet button. I've never had the burden of trying to work with a bullet button before. It definitely makes putting a lot of rounds through a rifle in one afternoon a little bit more problematic, or slower, I guess. You just got to keep, one extra round tucked into your glove so that you can press it into the button and drop the magazine. So this rifle is available from WGM in a sweet package that they got set up. So I'll tell you about the rifle, and then I'll tell you about the accessories that it comes with. So the receivers are billet. They're 70-75 aerospace and aluminum. It's a slab-sided upper receiver, so there is no forward assist, as you can tell. And actually, I'll flip it over. And there is no brass deflector, and that's meant to eliminate weight reduction. I guess they had that requested by somebody that was commissioning a rifle design. So they've kind of stuck with it. I have noticed that without the brass deflector, you can kind of see where there's already brass markings on the receiver there. I popped the pins are very hard, so I actually popped the rear one ahead of time so that I could kind of pull the bolt out and show you guys. And the reason that is there's actually a tension screw that they put in. You have to remove the AR-15 grip to get to the screw. But it actually, basically the screw goes up through the bottom of the lower receiver and pushes against the upper receiver to really get that fit down to tight tolerances. So, I mean, I had to use a little brass hammer and punch to get these half.
Kind of plays the role of those little accurizer wedges, huh?
Yeah, it's like an accu-wedge, but it's a screw, so
Okay,
it's
cool.
actually better than a piece of plastic that you're putting into.
Right.
Yeah.
It goes in
so
through the pistol grip hole,
Yes.
same hole that the pistol grip screws into. Okay.
Yeah, basically. So it does have an oversized trigger guard. The finish is Type 2 hard anodized with a low gloss. There's the trigger guard. It does come with a Hogue overmold stock, which are like one of my favorite stocks, as well as the overmold pistol grip. So the stock is 6 position, and it's got a really nice rubber cheek weld on there. So it's got anti-rotational trigger and hammer pins. Let me rotate this around. It's got an ambidextrous safety lever. The buffer tube is commercial because commercial is better than military mil-spec as far as the rigidity of it. The trigger, they didn't tell me what brand the trigger was, but it's a one-piece drop-in, and it's adjusted to 4 pounds, and they can adjust it to 4.5 pounds for law enforcement models, and 3.5 pounds on their 3-gun models. The barrel is wild chamber, so it can take .223 and .556. It's fluted, 16-inch match grade, and they also have it available as a 14.5-inch with a pin and welded flash hider muzzle brake to make it legally 16 inches. Their barrels are 4150 chrome moly and millinite coated for wear and corrosion resistance, and they are an H-bar profile with a mid-length gas system. And it's just straight fluted, but they do also offer spiral fluting at additional cost. They do offer the chambering in not just 223, 556, but also 300 Blackout, 458 SOCOM, and 50 Beowulf. Obviously, the 458 and 50 barrels cannot be fluted. It's got M4 feed ramps, fully adjustable gas block, so you can use it to custom tailor for your ammunition loads, or if you're using a suppressor in subsonic rounds. It's got the handguard on here is free float key mod, but they also have a M-lock handguard as well. Comes with backup iron sights that flip up. They didn't tell me what name brand they were, but they're very similar to like Troy or I guess Midwest Industries style. In the front sight, I'll hold it up for the webcam for the YouTube viewers, but it is that HK style with that kind of half circle covering or housing, and the rear is just a standard flip-up style with the dual apertures. The muzzle brake is pretty. Actually, before I get to the muzzle brake, the charging handle as well is kind of special. So it's an ambidextrous charging handle that's got a design to redirect blowback gases away from the shooter's face when you're shooting suppressed. So it's got holes in it that direct the gases away from your face. So the muzzle brake is this is made by Allen Engineering. And Allen Engineering makes the muzzle brakes that are kind of more infamously seen on the Mark 12 SPRs, or the rifle that they use on the movie Lone Survivor. So it's kind of a two-part system. They've got these collars that kind of go over the barrel, and then they're tapered on the ends. And so if you can get like an Allen Engineering suppressor, and it'll, you can unscrew this bushing that's on the mount half, and that reveals threads, and then you can put the Allen Engineering suppressor right over the top of it. This is a really wide thread pitch that obviously my 30 cal can wouldn't even touch that. So you can use it as a regular muzzle brake, and it actually does a great job. It's just got this single chamber, and it kind of directs gases out. Out and to the rear. So I was actually shooting like single and slow fire, double taps and triple taps, and the muzzle rise was like super negligible. So it really does a good job at that. But you take off this bushing, and you've got the threads for putting on an Allen Engineering suppressor, and this collar, this taper at the end, is supposed to make that a really good tight fit around the barrel. And if you do not have an Allen Engineering suppressor, you can just screw off the mount half and retain the collar, because the collar doesn't really affect the native pitch. The thread pitch is the native threads on the barrel itself. So as I take off this mount, here's your standard 1/2 thread pitch that you can put on like any other muzzle device, suppressors, flash hiders, muzzle brakes, and you can just keep this collar on there. So they offer several different, they call them locating collars, and they also muzzle devices depending on what kind of barrel you have. So you can check out Allen Engineering's website and kind of pick and choose what you want, as well as some of their suppressors that they offer. Let's see, they've got the AE22, the AEM5, AEM4, so just depending on the suppressor length that you want. So it's kind of interesting. Of course, Allen Engineering is also in California, so they kind of collaborated with a fellow California arms suppressor company to put this on their rifle. So I thought it was interesting. It was a little difficult for me to take off. I had to put the upper receiver in a vice block and get this off so I could attempt to use my advanced armament cyclone suppressor with just a adapter bushing that I got from Brownells. Let me screw this back on there. got it upside down, that's why. So anyway, pretty interesting setup. Of course, if you don't have a suppressor, you live in a state where you can't own a suppressor, there's no problems there because the muzzle brake is actually phenomenal at its job. It's quite loud for everyone next to you, though, so don't expect to make many friends at the range unless they are already deaf. But besides that, it does a pretty good job. And if you're a fanboy, the Mark 12 SPR Lone Survivor movie, you can always throw in that or name drop that when you're describing your rifle to your friends. So as a complete package, this rifle comes in a waterproof Plano tactical case, comes with an Otis cleaning kit, comes with eye and ear protection, a quick detach sling, it comes with 2 hex magazines. So they had the blue followers on there, and these actually have 10-round limiters in there. So not only was I trying to increase the round count on this rifle with a bullet button, but they also sent me with 10-round magazines. So no wonder why they're sending it to people in other states in California, because they want to get as many rounds to this thing as possible. And that's kind of slow when you're working with 10 rounds and a bullet button. So thankfully, Washington got some standard capacity 30-rounders to throw through, even some Magpul 40-round PMags. So I put about 300 rounds through it myself, just through one afternoon. It got kind of hot. And, of course, I'm in the middle of moving, so that kind of put a damper on how much time I could allocate to this. But it was a pretty enjoyable range day. I was ringing steel out to 100 yards all day long with it. As far as the aesthetic options or finishes available, they offer MP3 coating with custom colors available at additional cost. So the claim to fame is just WGM tactical rifles are built with pride, quality, and the serious shooter in mind. They offer a great deal of quality, precision, all together in one convenient and economical package, meaning all the stuff you get in the case with the gun. So target market would be your serious shooters, not your weekend warriors that just go to Walmart and buy an M&P supporter. And also, they have quite a bit of law enforcement customers as well. I did not find any other reviews on this rifle since they're passing it around. So you have to look up to see who else has had it before me. I haven't found any yet. And see what their thoughts are on it. The price points: it's got an MSRP of $2,103. They did tell me that the dealer cost for the rifle is $1,553. So in between those two numbers is, kind of what the dealers have to work with. If you can get it for, that $155 or you get like a $1,600, you got a good deal. It might be a little higher than that depending on your dealer's markup. If you need it now, you can call them. They don't have a website up yet. Of course, I'm going to try and talk to them, see if they need any of my assistance on that matter, but you can call them anytime at 530-636-AR-15. So as far as my rating goes, I gave it an 8.5 as great. Everyone knows, if you're familiar with my reviewing style, I don't give out 10s unless it turns water into Patron. So 9 is pretty much the best review I give anything. And I gave this an 8.5 because it was pretty good. There's just a couple of things that, I wish I had a brass deflector on there. That's because it was throwing it back quite a bit of ways and hitting the people behind me, because I'm more familiar with the brass deflectors, throwing them to the right. And I don't really see that as a tremendous weight savings. How many ounces is just that extra little, addition to the receiver. And then, of course, if you're a lefty, don't shoot with your lips open, or you get smacked in the teeth. So anyway, the pros on this thing: it's got the best warranty around. If it breaks, WGM will replace the entire thing for you, like 100%. I think the only caveat to that is you have to be the original purchaser. So if you buy it and then sell it to, John Smith, they're not going to really extend that full replacement warranty to him, but I'm sure they'll be able to work with him. So the only con I had was, the brass flying in that direction. Overall, I think it's a really nice custom AR-15 rifle that's better than, your plain Jane models. They do not offer it with, an optic already on there, so you have the ability to add one yourself. But they are nice enough to throw those nice quality flip-up sights on there for resale value. Just so you don't have to sacrifice, your own, $100, $200 flip-up sights to sell the thing. So also I didn't mention that the Keymod handguard comes with these Keymod rubber port covers, so you can plug up the keyholes that you're not using, which is kind of nice, and it overall kind of enhances the grip a little bit too. So that's the rifle. I should have that review definitely up by when this podcast gets released. I am editing some video for it as well, so stay tuned for that. Any questions? Oh, I forgot to show you guys the inside, but I can do that while you guys are asking me questions.
I was curious. I'm assuming that when they bring it out, that the ones shipped to all the other states are going to be no bullet button, the typical ones available elsewhere.
Yeah, the bullet button is something that you can specifically request if you're in California, and that's mandatory for you to have. If you're not, you don't have to worry about it. So you can order just one without a bullet button.
I was wondering, because you were talking about the different parts, you didn't know what they were or where they were made, what manufactured some of the extra parts. You think they probably tell you, because that's what, $1,600 to $1,200 AR. I'm assuming, it'll have some like Nordic or, some of the bigger name parts on it.
Yeah, I mean, they in their literature that they sent me, they didn't have any like names for these things, and I'm not I kind of gotten out of the whole AR thing where I'm not like up on everyone's logos, but like this charging handle, it's got a logo on there or an emblem, and I honestly don't recognize it, so it's not the. I looked up like gas diverting charging handles, and it wasn't the main ones that were coming up, so I'm not sure. I'm sure if you called them and asked specifically, they would tell you. It's just they didn't provide that information for me, so I can only make my best guesses at it. Here's what the bolt carrier group looks like after 9,800 rounds with no cleaning. So it does definitely have what do they call this? I don't know if it's just a chromed finish or if it's something different. But that's to keep it from getting all gummed up. It does have quite a bit of carbon buildup on the like gas key and on the bolt face itself, but so far no failures. So definitely a well-used rifle.
I would bet that's probably some kind of nickel. What do they call it? The nickel boron or something along those lines.
Oh, actually, you know what? Yes, it is nickel boron, a nickel boron coated bolt. So just as you said that, I looked down at my notes and saw that at the bottom. So thank you for that.
No problem.
And then see if you can see it in the camera here. But here's the view of that tension screw. It is right in line with the rear takedown pin in there. So they just basically close the rifle without a pistol grip installed, and then just tighten that tensioning screw until the two receivers are kind of pulling apart on those pins just a little bit to really make it a solid, no slop, no wobble between the two.
Awesome.
Did you try to see how accurate it was, or do they give a spec on it?
Well, I mean, I didn't throw like a magnified optic on there.
Okay.
I guess if I was a good reviewer, I would have, but I just I haven't shot iron sights only for a while. Like, I rely pretty heavily on optics for most of my personal stuff. So I actually took it to the range just to shoot iron sights, just to see if I still could hit anything. But I would say that, if you had a good stable rest and you were only using the iron sights, you could definitely be, 1 MOA or maybe 1.5 MOA, depending on how good of a shooter you are. The nut behind the trigger sort of deal. But I didn't see any MOA claims as far as putting an optic on here and keeping that accuracy. It does have a 1-in-8 twist, so if you are a hand loader, you're going to want to take that into consideration for what loads you work out best for this rifle. As I understand, 1-in-8 is kind of more generic, handle the lighter stuff as well as a little bit of the heavier stuff, so 50 to 62 grains, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you could probably, it'd probably even shoot some of the 75s.
Yeah, I like the slick sides. I really do. I think the only thing left is the brass deflector. I kind of like that being on only because when you're shooting offhand or, for me, weak hand, it's not pelting you in the face. But other than that, I don't feel a huge need for forward assist on ARs.
Yeah, I mean, their whole motto was forward assist if you need to use forward assist. Something went wrong before that. And so, pardon the noise, I'm trying to hammer this pin down. So kind of the whole deal with the military wanting a forward assist on the design is so that if something happened with the magazine or the round chambering, it double fed or it has some gunk in there, that you could just drive it home. Well, their whole feeling is that they built the rifle to be more reliable, so you wouldn't have those problems to begin with. So just using... I'm sorry, go ahead, Chad.
I was going to say my understanding is what you said with the forward assist, but I think the only thing it's useful for is if you want to load the rifle quietly, you can cycle the actions, just kind of let it strip around off super slow, and then you can push the forward assist to get it into battery, because otherwise it won't go in.
Yeah, that is true. I did shoot this with my 30 cal suppressor, but it was actually pretty loud. Obviously I took the mount off of this Allen Engineering muzzle brake and just left the collar on there. It was loud, and I was shooting just regular federal bulk ammo, but it wasn't really enough for me to do a video specifically on it. I wish I had a 5.56 can to really test it out, get some more decibel reduction. But just a couple shots I fired, my ears were already ringing, so I didn't focus on that too much.
Well, I was going to say you can send it down here and I'll put my can on it.
Do you have a 223 can?
I do. I have an old Gemtech M402 or whatever they are. I don't think they even make it anymore. But
well, I can send it down to you, but the only problem is I'm going to be attached to it.
Well, just contact them and tell them that you're sending it to me, and that's okay.
I'm not the kind of guy to just use a rifle and just pass it around to my buddies,
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
You can bring it down here.
I only put 300 rounds, so I could say that, hey, let Chad put the 200 rounds in through it with his suppressor, and you'll be at an even 10,000 rounds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like it a lot. I really like the billet receiver. Just the depth that you have in between, the different angles and the extra strength added there. So there's a view of both sides. The dust cover definitely looks more recessed into the receiver than on a standard forged receiver. I just really like that attention to detail and quality that's built in there. It does have this adapter on the receiver extension tube that your castle nut butts up against, so you can use your QD swivels in there. The sling that they sent me was kind of just a single point with bungee style, but the person who had this last kept the QD swivel apparently, so I didn't have any QD swivels, so I didn't get to use the sling. But it's kind of interesting to know that this rifle, I've never held a rifle that's had that many rounds fired through it, so it's kind of interesting. Anyway, any other questions?
Nope.
Cool. So thanks to WGM for sending me the rifle. I'm very pleased with it, and if you guys are interested, go on over to their Facebook page. Is sadly the only online presence that they have right now. So just go to Facebook and look up WGM Tactical, and then you can follow them on there and see all their other builds that they're working on. So moving on to our tech gadget or app segment. Actually, this week I wanted to talk about a cool water transportation vehicle that I think a lot of people will be interested to watch the video on, at least. This is the Mokai Escape. Mokai makes motorized personal what are they, kayaks?
Yeah, that's what they say they are.
Yeah. So they have an engine, and they are actually jet propelled. So think of a kayak and a jet ski combined.
Or a squid.
And actually, what's that?
I said or a squid. Squids are jet propelled.
Yeah, or that. So the Mokai was the original, and it was just a solid construction canoe that had that engine built in. The Mokai ES, I'm just call it the Escape, but they abbreviate it ES-Cape. It's built to actually disassemble into 3 pieces, so you can actually take the bow and the stern apart from the main body and put them inside the cavity, and it would reduce the overall footprint of it, so you can essentially transport it easier. So the stern has a Subaru EX21 electric start engine. It weighs 100 pounds, including the engine and the jet drive. The engine weight by itself weighs 42 pounds. The bow is just 15 pounds with a spring-loaded pin and spool design. So without any tools, you should be able to take the stern and the bow and add them onto the cockpit to create the full vehicle. And then when you're done, you drive it up on shore, take those 2 pieces off, put them inside the cockpit, and then throw it into your back of your truck or put it on top of your ski rack on your vehicle and be on your merry way. So we're looking at you've watched the video on the homepage of mokai.com. That's MOKAI.com. But looking at the specs of it, overall length is 11 feet 3 inches. The width at its widest point is 36 inches. The height is 19 inches. The weight is 200 pounds. The hull is constructed out of high-impact polyethylene with aluminum bulkheads. The fuel capacity is 3 gallons. The consumption at like half to 3/4 throttle is 8 to 10 hours. The custom-designed air exhaust reduces this. Is that it says 88 decibels? Is that the sound produced?
Yes.
That's what it says.
So it's hearing safe at full throttle. I'm not sure you're going to be sneaking up on any ducks at full throttle, but at least you're not going to be ringing in your ears all day. The top speed under optimal conditions is 20 miles per hour, and that's humming along pretty good for a canoe basically. The payload is 300 pounds, so if you're wanting to get you and a child or you and another adult in there, if both of you are going to push that 300-pound limit, you might not be able to. If you yourself is pushing that 300-pound limit, you might want to do some shuttle runs before you get one of these. But anyway, the price is $5,400, which is a steal compared to getting a canoe and a jet ski separately. Am I right?
Yeah,
I would imagine. Yeah, I'm not
so much faster.
Yeah, but who needs to go that fast? This is all about sporting.
But can you
No,
duck
no.
hunt from a jet ski, Chad?
You could do it.
Technically. Yeah, but it's kind of interesting that it breaks down like we had talked about before the show. I'm wondering how stable that breakdown is. Being that it's toolless, you just kind of pop it together. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't show too. I'm sure somewhere on the site, but I didn't look too detailed. But I'm sure
Yeah.
somewhere where they show the full install. But it just seems like you might just have some kind of lock together pieces and maybe throw a wing nut on and holds it together. So I'm kind of interested, kind of curious about how stable it is. But at the same time, that's a pretty neat feature because it doesn't come down and then you have to store 3 individual parts. It comes down and you put them into the, I guess, cockpit section where you would normally sit. You stow the front and rear piece in there, the motorized, or not motor, but I guess, is that what you call it? A motor?
Yeah.
The jet. The jet engine, we'll call it.
But it said you could put it together in 2 minutes, yeah. It says 2 minutes without tools.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. You can just throw it back together. And then disassembled, being that it all collapses together, it's only 6.5 feet long. So you could easily throw it down in the bed of a truck, depending on your truck bed length, without having it, having to hang it over a couple feet and throw a little streamer flag on it and all that annoying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would fit better in a pickup bed than my single-seater pontoon fishing boat thing.
Yeah.
So, but of course, the price is what kills you, but it's still a pretty good deal. I mean, if you can go take this thing out and, drive it around for 8 hours, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Full, half to full, or 3/4 to full throttle, you said. So if you're just trolling around, maybe taking in some sights or just trying to get from area to area without going full speed, I imagine this thing probably has a pretty good fuel capacity, if you're not running it full speed.
Yeah. So it says that there's a joystick that's placed on the deck, so it offers comfortable, trouble-free operation, eliminating any obstruction in the cockpit area. So I guess it's controlled by a joystick that's placed in an area that's not going to be too bothersome. I don't know if that's right in front of you, between your legs. But I mean,
anything that's controlled with a joystick. I mean, come on.
Right?
I mean, that'd
be fun.
Just make it more like a video game. Come on.
Yeah. And obviously, if you are not familiar with a jet ski, there is no reverse. So you're gonna have to push it out from the dock and then turn around. And then if you've taken boater safety or not, obviously, if the engine does not have a forward momentum, if you're not giving it any throttle, you lose steering capability. So. I think this is motorized. You're going to have to take boater's ed, right? In your state
in my state, definitely. It has to be licensed.
Yeah.
Because it's powered.
Right. So there is that, but I am licensed, so I could get this.
That brings another issue. I know, at least in my state, I don't know how boats work. I've never hunted from a boat, but I know you can't hunt from, say, an ATV or any motorized vehicle. I wonder if they consider this thing a motorized vehicle. So I wonder if you could even bring it duck hunting or anything like that in certain locations. I'm sure some places you can, some places you can't, just like anything else. But I wonder, I guess a curious consideration.
I can answer that for Washington State. At least I know that if you are duck hunting from a motorized vessel, you cannot discharge your weapon unless the momentum from that motor has stopped.
Okay.
So you can't floor it, into full throttle, and then put it into neutral, and then just kind of drift into the duck area and start blasting away. You have to be stopped. You can't be moving, pretty much. I mean, if you're moving because of the wind or the current, that's fine, but you can't be moving under the power of the engine.
Okay, that makes sense. I bet that's pretty similar because they can't expect everybody that's going to duck hunt to do it with a paddle. So, I guess they could. If you live in New Jersey, they probably do.
I have no idea. I think you can't shoot ducks. You have to choke them. or something. I don't know what the rules are
Yeah,
in Jersey.
ducks are archery season, right?
Actually, in
don't know.
New Jersey, duck season is an
I'd have to
addle,
ask my
isn't it?
brother-in-law. He's big into hunting.
What was the question?
Yeah,
Ryan?
addle. We have to use
Oh.
addle.
There you go.
Spitballs. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's pretty
Well,
cool.
it's definitely not slingshots.
No.
and this is useful for fishermen as well as I would say waterfowl hunters. If you had this in addition to a main a main boat for duck hunting, I know a lot of times we'll have a raft to accompany us. So you park the boat, and if you want to adjust your decoy set up in the water, you just go into the reeds, pull out your little we call it a stealth boat, but it's basically just a canoe. And then you can paddle out and without getting your boat firing it up, causing wake and causing everyone's decoys to kind of shift. So
Yeah.
this would be cool for that. It'd be cool for if you wanted to fish.
One thing I noticed, it's got a ton of, I guess, grab and tow points on it, so you can, you're not trying to. It's a pretty slick, streamlined vessel, so trying to get a hold of it could possibly be difficult. But it's got these loops and little handlebars kind of all over the thing. So if you're trying to pull it up out of the water, you're not slipping and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. I want to get like 3 of these and like race my friends. Like it seems like very fun to do with more than one person.
Well, like everything,
15 grand and you could have 3.
There you go. I was looking it up on YouTube, and of course, someone already has improvements that you can do on these things to make them faster. You gotta love it. No matter what you make, no matter what you do, someone on YouTube figured out a way to make it better.
Well, it's not a proprietary engine either, so it's a. What did you say it was? Kawasaki or Suzuki? Okay, so it's not a proprietary engine, so it's like you probably, the engine's probably been around a whole lot longer than this, this particular vessel. So I imagine it would have
Subaru's been making
Subaru
engines for a while, yeah. Cool. So if you guys want to check that out, go to the link in the show notes. So we don't have any listener feedback this week. I want to make sure that we plug the Firearms Radio Network Extraordinary Daily Carry giveaway that we're doing with the CAR P9. So if you go to the link in the show notes or just firearmsradio.tv/EDC, you can enter for a chance to win a CAR P9 pistol with an addition of lots of other cool goodies that other sponsors are throwing in. So Alien Gear holsters, key bar, Hellbent holsters, precision ear, easy to see targets, Cantu burner designs, those awesome pens, Wazoo survival gear, and LA police gear. So how you enter, be a patron using Patreon of one of our 4, campaigns. The Firearms Radio Network campaign, which is monthly, or you can do per episode with Gun Guy Radio, This Week in Guns, or We Like Shooting. So if you don't want to give us money, shame on you, but you can also use the form on that page to just give us your name, email, phone number, and a testimonial. We're not looking for a life story, but we're just looking to see if the Firearms Radio Network has affected your life in a certain way. You can leave us a little testimonial there, and you'll be entered to win this giveaway. So the cutoff for that is actually the end of this month, so June 2015. The 30th, which is a Tuesday, is the cutoff for entries, so make sure you get in on it before it's too late. Wrapping up, send questions or comments to myself, cross@firearmsradio.tv, or podcast@firearmsinsider.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. Make sure you visit the Firearms Insider page, firearmsinsider.tv, for reviews and future industry coverage. And make sure you check out patriotpatch.co for all the awesome patches that me and Jake are putting out. And I'm going to go ahead and let Tony plug all the awesome things that he's doing in New Jersey. You know you want to.
Oh, yeah, I'm dying to. Well, on the 25th of June, I have my the Second Is for Everyone shoot going at Gun for Hire. Pretty much I'm booked up, and I'm going to go ahead and schedule another one coming up shortly. So I'm going to have, probably at the end of August, I'm going to have my second shoot. On Sunday the 14th, I'm having a NRA First Steps pistol class at Fort Dix, New Jersey. We only have 4 spots left, so if you want to get in on it, contact me on my Facebook page, Simon Says Train. And finally, I'd like you guys, even if you don't live in the state of New Jersey, go to recallsweeney.com. It's pretty much a grassroots effort to recall the head of the New Jersey State Senate. The guy's a scumbag and really brags about being a scumbag. So we're trying to get rid of him to actually show the state that we're not taking arbitrary gun laws lying down. Gabby Giffords just blew through Trenton and came up with a new BS law that says if you're accused of domestic violence, which means you screamed at your wife, you have 24 hours to sell your firearms. You haven't been convicted. You haven't been anything. You've been accused, and you have to actually sell your firearms. And if you don't sell them within 24 hours, you have to give them to the police to be destroyed.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. If you get accused of domestic violence, you have to get rid of your firearms forever, even if you're found to be innocent. So we're trying to get rid of the head of the state senate and let them know that we're not going to take these silly laws lying down. So it's recallsweeney.com. All right, that's it for me. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you letting me rant.
Yeah, no problem. And actually, that reminds me on another similarly political note. If you're not paying attention, looks like the current administration is trying to move forward with some executive actions that's going to affect our First Amendment rights, specifically discussing technical aspects of firearms and ammunition online, gun-related blogs and videos, as well as gun forums. So essentially what we're doing right here. So if this goes through, we're going to be subject to stiff fines and prison time for not going through the State Department for approval before publishing every single week. So make sure you contact your representatives and stay up on what's going on out there, because they don't have much to lose, so they're swinging for the fences. Anyway,
Oh, wow.
That said, TJ and Chad, thank you again for joining me.
Yep, it was a good time as always.
Yep, and Mr. Simon, always a pleasure to have you on.
All right, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's you give us credibility, is how I see it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate you listening to my whining from the Garden State.
Hey, no problem, man. So everyone have a good week. Stay cool. And if you go out shooting, make sure you bring lots of water and try not to get too sunburned. And I'll catch you on the next episode.
See you guys later.
Yep. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.